Today is such a rainy, sunny, cool breeze day. It's a good time. It's your girl Brianna. Guess I have on pants, and I just wanted to have a little perspective talk about some things that have been weighing heavy on my heart with recent news and events. Once again, I speak on behalf of myself, Brianna Renee Wilson. I do not speak on behalf of the entire Black community. I don't think that's a thing because I'm sure there's some Black person somewhere that doesn't agree with exactly what I'm saying, and you know what? That's okay. The main point here is to share my perspective. I feel like if people share their perspectives and other people listen, that's called raising awareness, and we become more sympathetic and empathetic towards people who are not ourselves. I just wanted to share my point of view. I guess this is the start of a thing. I've always wanted to be a content creator, and since this is the first video, let me just say it here so I don't have to keep saying it. I always wanted to be a content creator. I don't quite know what my niche is yet. I'm gonna find it. So I'm sure this is gonna be the first of a series. So I guess this is the first time that I'll say it. Wow, that's so cool. So you can go to my YouTube channel if you want. I'll have more perspective in my PJs videos. So let's get started, shall we? I want to talk about Black Lives Matter, especially in comparison to All Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter in comparison to the Other Lives Matter movement. I personally dislike the Blue Lives Matter, the All Lives Matter, and any other blank lives matter that isn't Black Lives Matter. And here's why. Those other hashtags or movements were made in direct opposition to Black Lives Matter. They were made specifically to take the attention away from Black lives. And that is not okay. For example, this COVID situation. You don't see hashtags going around or movements going around saying cancer patients matter. We know that cancer is deadly and awful, and it impacts so many lives across the nation. We know there are people in my life that have been affected by cancer. It's awful. I don't wish cancer upon my worst enemy. We all know that cancer is terrible. The effects heart-wrenching for the patient as well as the family. It's a whole ordeal, and it's awful, and it breaks my heart. That being said, there's a reason that you don't see with this whole coronavirus pandemic, we don't see what about cancer? What about cancer patients? Because that's not what the focus is right now. Right now there's a global pandemic happening. We still know that cancer and all of the horridness that goes along with that is valid. Nobody's saying that it's not valid. It's just right now the major attention and resources are going towards COVID because that's what's mainly under fire. Translating that back to Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. All lives matter. But that's not what's being attacked right now. That's not the target right now. That's not... All lives aren't being senselessly murdered. All lives aren't being lynched. Blue lives aren't being lynched. It's Black people. We're talking about Black people. We're talking about how we are being targeted and lynched. Right now we're talking about us. We're reclaiming the narrative. We're saying that this is not okay. We're videotaping, that's another thing. Please don't say that this is a new thing. Black people have been lynched for centuries. It's just now we have the technology to record it and post it and raise awareness about it. But this isn't a new thing. So let's be aware of that. This is not a new thing. Just recording it is new. It kind of breaks my heart when I see those Other Lives Matter movements, because you guys aren't being suppressed, oppressed, marginalized, or anything. It's us. It's numerous examples of us being murdered. For what? We are unarmed. We are not doing anything wrong. We're living in the skin that we are in, and we are being killed. The Black Lives Matter movement is so pivotal. It is so important for us to speak up and say that our lives do matter because of all of the examples that have been set forth and shown. The system openly shows us that we are not important, that the justice system isn't for us, that freedom isn't for us. Time and time again, it's just been proven. But yet, when we make a movement saying that Black Lives Matter, other people get upset and make an, well, all lives matter too. And honey, we get it. We know. We're not saying that our lives matter isn't saying that your life doesn't. Saying that our lives matter isn't saying that other people's lives don't matter. In no way in hashtag Black Lives Matter does it say in really tiny small print, but other lives don't. That's not it. That's not it. Pointing out the systematic inequities doesn't invalidate other races. And I feel like that's what needs to be understood. We're not invalidating other races in our quest to be proven as equals in this country. We're not saying that other people aren't important. Other people are very important as well. But we are too. We're reclaiming it. That's what Black Lives Matter is. I will put a link in the description. That is so weird. Am I a YouTuber or something? I'll put a link in the description below. Please check out the Black Lives Matter webpage. Sign petitions, get active, get aware. That's what this is about. The thing about my videos is that I'm not yelling at anyone, not saying that other people are. No. But I'm not here to yell at somebody. I'm not here to preach at somebody. I'm simply here to tell my story and to share my points of view and to share my perspective. I'm not in any way negating other people's stories. I'm really just here to tell my own in hopes that sharing my story helps people understand what's happening with people that aren't themselves. Right now it's raining, but it's also sun shining, so I'm gonna go check to see if there's a rainbow real quick because that excites my soul. I don't see a rainbow yet, but I feel like it will happen. The reason I say movements is because I question the validity of them. I tend to think that movements are rooted in good doing and equality, but it seems like, to me, the Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter aren't about equality. They're kind of just about kind of a, what about us? Don't forget about us. But that's just how I perceive them. That's why I say movements when I'm talking about them, just because I don't find them to be valid. But once again, that's my perspective. That's all I have for my perspective on Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter and whatnot. Thank you for listening, and let's have a conversation about it. You can find me on my social medias, linked in the description, and let's chat about it. All right, have a great day. The end. Y'all hear that rain? It sounds so good. I just want to go dance in it.